Alright, before we get started on this sauce, I wanted to show you a copy of the book that most of what we're talking about can be found in. L. Ron Hubbard's The Scientology, A History of Man, Antediluvian Technology, which is an interesting name because he never talks about the flood. Antediluvian means before the flood. He never talks about a global flood or anything. But anyway, originally this was entitled What to Audit. And it's considered to be a factual account. It's even right on the inside. It says a cold-blooded and factual account of your last 76 trillion years. So this is where what we're talking about tonight's going to come from. But you will not find this wonderful, tasty recipe in there. So we're going to start with a basic little sauce. And start by turning our stove on. Brand new stove, so it may take me a minute to figure out what I'm doing here. Alright. Now, start with a little extra virgin olive oil, but you can use whatever your favorite oil is, or even a little butter or margarine if that's what you got on hand. This is bachelor cooking after all. I like the flavor of olive oil it brings. And we're going to add a half of an onion to this. Save that other half for something else. I should probably be talking about something right now instead of just standing here cooking like I usually do in an empty kitchen. Let's see. Okay, yes, thetans. We're used to hearing, from all the pages that have been promoted on the internet and things that have been talked about, we're used to hearing about body thetans. We're used to hearing about thetans and the story of Xenu and whatnot, but that's only half of the story. As living beings which have material bodies, those material bodies have a genetic history which apparently, or unbelieved, came along with memories and engrams and things that can affect you today because of what happens to you as one of these evolutionary pre-human things, which includes clams and mollusks. The reason that the mollusks are so important in the history of man is because that's the point, according to L. Ron Hubbard, at which we began to have, instead of just one control center controlling your being, the mollusk was a merging of two, at which point you began to have conflict, internal conflict, in addition to the external conflict of the world, or whatever. Alrighty. We're going to throw the onion in on top of the hot oil now first. The onion will help control our temperature before we add our herbs and stuff, which are a little more delicate. Garlic. So the clam experienced internal conflict. Something I think L. Ron knew humans could relate to, right? Alright, I'm going to throw a couple of peppers in here. You can just use a tablespoon of crushed red pepper or something if you want. These are dried peppers from my garden from last year. One jalapeno and one serrano. And since I don't want anybody to get a big old bite of pepper, I'm going to leave those mostly whole, just cut them in half. still connected, and those will bring some nice heat and flavor to this party. Where was I? I'm going to save those seeds. Plant them in my garden. So, yes. So you were once mollusks and experienced internal conflict. So you might ask yourself, what kind of internal conflict could a clam possibly experience? Well, let's talk about that a little while. Let's add a little white wine here real quick so this doesn't get too dry. Just a little bit. What kind of internal conflict could a clam possibly experience? Well, the clam, since it had this, for lack of a better word, bicameral mind, two parts, like two houses of Congress, it just couldn't agree with itself. Half of the mind, one of the clams hinged to be open, half the clam wanted its hinge to be closed. So you can imagine for yourself, prehistoric beach, sun shining, beautiful day, the surf sweeping the beach, little clam lying just above the tide, the sun shining on it, opening and closing, opening, closing, as the sun dried it out. Yeah, I was thinking the vegetables wouldn't work as an example either, but Elron said you also have memories of being seaweed, so you know, imagine a seaweed drying out on the beach and the terrible pain that would cause you.